Hi, I'm Sun Sports Mike Anstead. I'm here with our Arsenal correspondent Jordan Davies, ahead of the big title showdown between Arsenal and Liverpool. Now today, I'm going to ask Jordan to pick his combined 11 between the stars available for both teams. It's a tough assignment, but one Jordan's going to step up to. So we'll start with the goalkeeper position. David Raya or Alisson?
Yeah, it's probably one of the easiest decisions to make. You could argue that David Raya and Aaron Ramsdale are better footballing goalkeepers than Alisson, but Alisson is one of, if not the best keeper in the world. He's been consistent for many years, and I think any team in Europe would want Alisson in their team, and I think if he could, Mikel Arteta would swap David Raya with Alisson tomorrow.
Fair enough, fair enough. We'll look at the left-back role next. So we've got Zinchenko, obviously available for Arsenal, Andy Robertson for Liverpool. Who would you go for there?
I've gone with Zinchenko. I know people may point to the fact that defensively he's not the best left-back in the world, but he just makes any team he's in so much better because of his inverted role and this kind of fashionable inverted fullback now. But the way he brings players in for Arsenal, even at Man City, he made Pep's team tick at times. He's doing the same with Arteta, even if sometimes he can be a bit vulnerable. And Andy Robertson, a brilliant left-back, but just hasn't had the consistency this season. Controversial
choice. I think you have a few people disagreeing with you on that one. Now this is a tough one. So we get to centre-back. You've obviously got to pick two from, we're looking, on Liverpool's side, we've got Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate, and then we've got William Saliba and Gabriel for Arsenal. So four tough, compromising defenders there. Who are you going for?
I've taken one from each, which I think will be unsurprising. I've gone with William Saliba and Virgil van Dijk. Two of the best defenders in the world right now. I think any team in Europe would choose them hands down. I mean, it's quite harsh on Gabriel because he's been very good this season. He's really improved since being dropped at the start of the season by Mikel Arteta, and him and William Saliba have a really good partnership. And the same with Konate. Konate and Van Dijk have an amazing partnership, and one of the reasons why they're top of the league right now. But just William Saliba is the best young defender in the world right now. He'll play in the Euros with France, no doubt. And Virgil van Dijk has come back even stronger from his injury, and he's had brief moments where he hasn't looked at his best, but he's shown in the last couple of weeks just what a class act he is. So yeah, Saliba and Van Dijk.
I imagine there's a few Premier League managers be happy to have Van Dijk and Saliba as their back two. So that leaves us with right back. So we've obviously got Ben White for Arsenal. Trent Alexander-Arnold is the other one we're doing in the mix, although we should do a little shout out to Conor Bradley, who's been pretty impressive last couple of games. But we are doing this as Ben White versus Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, no, Conor Bradley has been fantastic and been keeping Trent out of the team recently. But yeah, in terms of Trent versus Ben White, I've gone with Trent. Mainly just because Ben White just doesn't look himself right now. He hasn't been that good this season. I know he's been struggling with an Achilles problem. But he's also played at centre back a lot for Arsenal this season as well, with Gabriel out of the team. So it makes sense to have Trent in there, even though Trent isn't really a right back. We don't actually know what he is. He's a midfield right back winger who can do pretty much anything. But no, you have to maybe have him in there because of just what a talent he is and what a right foot he has.
Well, that brings us to the centre midfield role. I mean, you argue you could have Trent there, but let's keep him at right back. So this is another tough one. So we've got the three slots across centre midfield. In the Arsenal corner, you've got Declan Rice, England international, £100 million midfielder. You've got Martin Odegaard, captain, excellent midfielder. And you've also got the likes of Kai Havertz in the mix as well. And then in Liverpool side, you've also got a strong setup, Dominic Szoboszlai, Alexis McAllister, Curtis Jones been playing very well recently, Harvey Elliott. Who are you going for?
Well, also you've got to throw in there with Arsenal, Jorginho and Thomas Partey as well, who's coming back from injury. But I think this is one of the tougher ones just because Liverpool have so many good midfielders right now. Jurgen Klopp's done such a good job rebuilding that midfield after Henderson and Fabinho and James Milner have left. But I'm actually going for two Arsenal players, Martin Odegaard and Declan Rice. Declan Rice is proving his weight in gold, 105 million and an absolute bargain. Probably the reason that Arsenal are still in the title chase with his late goals against Man United and Luton. He's just anywhere and everywhere, and he looks even better alongside Martin Odegaard, who has had a slight drop off from last season, but he's still absolutely magic on the ball. And then I've gone with a Liverpool player to finish off the midfield in Dominic Szoboszlai. Again, a slow start, having to adapt to the Premier League, but he's got an amazing shot on him. He scores long-range goals. His passing looks good as well, and he's being compared to Steven Gerrard week by week, and that isn't a bad thing. And Jurgen Klopp can really now depend on him, so I'm depending on him as well.
Absolutely, it's a strong setup. So now we're going further forward, and we're going to start wide right. And this is going to be one of the toughest decisions you make for your team, because we're going to be strict here and keep the wide men to their positions they play for the club. So we're not going to cheat and say you can have player X on the left when he plays on the right. So essentially this is Mo Salah returning from injury soon after his AFCON departure, and Bukayo Saka.
I can't believe I've actually had to choose between these two. If I could have, I would have cheated and just put Salah on the left. But I'm going with Salah on the right over Bukayo Saka, which is awful to say, just considering how good a player Bukayo Saka is. And even when Arsenal haven't been at their best this season, he's been one of their shining lights. But you can't ignore Mo Salah. Every year you seem to think that there'll be a drop-off, and there isn't. And he keeps scoring the goals to keep Liverpool in the hunt for the top four, and also in the hunt for the title. It's a real shame that he's picked up this injury in AFCON, because he's just one player that you just can't be without when you're going into a big game like Sunday, and we still don't know whether he will play. But yeah, I'm leaving Saka on the bench, which sounds very strange to say.
He's now sulking on the bench now.
He is, yeah.
Thinking about putting a transfer request in. So that takes us to the other side. I mean, this is not perhaps quite the absolute stellar quality of Salah and Saka, but you've got some good options here. We've got Martinelli, Trossard for Arsenal, and then you've got the likes of Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota for Liverpool. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I kind of ummed and ahed over this one, because I was tempted to put Martinelli in, but I was kind of basing that on last season and not this season, and I really wanted to pick on form, and in current form, Martinelli just hasn't been up to it this season. He's got a few goals in the last couple of games, but that's really been the anomaly. So I've gone for Luis Diaz, who has had so many issues off the field with his father as well, and any injuries, and yet to come back and still be that star on the left for Jurgen Klopp's side. It's incredible, and I'm tipping him to really be a star in the game on Sunday as well.
Okay, so finally, and this is two characters who certainly divide fans' opinions at the best of times, but for Arsenal up front, you've obviously got Gabriel Jesus, and then for Liverpool, we've got Darwin Núñez. So two players who I think it's fair to say fans think perhaps could chip in with a few more goals, but also they have their backers as well. Who are you going with?
Yeah, I mean, Gabriel Jesus is someone who doesn't shoot enough, and Darwin Núñez perhaps shoots too much and hits the post every time he has a shot. But I've gone with Darwin Núñez, and because Gabriel Jesus this season just hasn't been prolific enough. He's amazing off the ball. He's amazing in Arteta's system. He feeds people in. His passing is brilliant. But there's a certain chaos around Darwin Núñez that for some reason creates goals and makes goals, and he's now starting to score goals as well. And I just feel like in the next couple of weeks we could see Darwin Núñez really mature into a proper title contending striker, which Gabriel Jesus just hasn't shown in an Arsenal shirt yet. So yes, leading my line is Darwin Núñez.
And if we just reset it all, and you're looking at Jurgen Klopp, Mikel Arteta, and they pick whichever players they want to for their two teams, what's your prediction for the big game?
Arsenal have been really impressive at the Emirates. We can't forget that Liverpool did beat them in the FA Cup on January 7th. Liverpool have just looked incredible wherever they've been. I do back Arsenal to get a result, whether that's a draw or a win. I can't see them losing in what is a massive game, because if they lose, then it's basically the title done, 8 points clear. Liverpool would be. So I'm backing Arsenal to get a result and not to lose. So I'm going to say 1-1.
So what did you think of Jordan's combined 11? Some big decisions he had to make. If you disagree with him, or maybe you do agree, let us know in the comments. And for all the latest breaking news, go to sun.co.uk.